Dave in Biloxi Beach, Mississippi has texted in from the 228.
Hey.
And he wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Nashville Preds? Why the continual underachievement? He's watching on Game Plus TV down there in Biloxi Beach, Mississippi, where I wish I was right now. And maybe we'll open with that with Peter Loubardias, the longtime Calgary Flames color commentator. And Lou, by the way, Happy New Year. Don't believe we've...
same to you.
Yeah, talked about that. But here's my thing with the Preds. It didn't seem that long ago that they were in a conference final against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Maybe it was longer than their fans would like. I think they're going to be in the thick of it. They were in a play-in round series against Arizona last year. They're not that bad. Perennial underachievers, are they, Nashville?
No, Rod, I don't think they are. However, it has been a significant drop-off since that appearance in the Stanley Cup final, which in some ways seems like yesterday and in other ways seems like 100 years ago. The bottom line is the competition level in the league is enormous. And in Nashville, they have really prided themselves on a fabulous defense, great goaltending. Pekka Rinne is certainly nearing the end, if not at the end. They're trying to pave the way for UC Saros, and he looks like he's on the way, but still unproven as far as that level is concerned. And the fact of the matter is, they made a significant deal when they went out and acquired Ryan Johansson and moved Seth Jones to Columbus. And outside of the first playoff, and I'm not putting it all on one guy. I love Ryan. In fact, we have a great relationship. He's one of the guys in the league that I look forward to seeing every time, he has come to Calgary in the past. But at a certain point in time, you build your group, you try your best, and the framework of the league and the cap, you can't keep guys together now forever. And on the fly, you kind of have to retool a little bit and decide at the end of the day, here's my line, guys. If you are going to marry someone long-term, more often than not, you need to get it right. And when you don't, now there's going to be retooling and rebuilding and restructuring.
Lou, are we talking real life or hockey here?
Both.
That's what I thought. You and I have experience.
Both.
We've got experience in that realm. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the question from the guy in Biloxi Beach, Mississippi, and I'm
Absolutely.
sure you do. Yeah, you do too. But I could see how a Predators fan would be getting a little antsy because it just doesn't seem that they're trending right. But anyways, Lou, so you and I talk about over the years about how fans they're antsy, right? And they got to pay a lot for tickets. They got to pay a lot for merchandise. They want a winner. Well, it would appear in Calgary you do. I'm clinging to the fact that I got the Flames number one in the Scotia Division, the North Division. Are they the best in Canada? What do you think?
I'm not sure they're the best in Canada, Rod. The one thing that I would say to you is I'm not a big prediction maker. I never will be. I don't want to be. It only puts you in a bad spot. However, I will contend that in all the time I've been around Calgary, whether it was as a play-by-play guy on TV or now, in year whatever the heck this is, doing color on the radio, it's the deepest group that I have seen from top to bottom. They've had a restructuring. I think the move with Lindholm and a pairing with Matthew Tkachuk has really changed their whole forward group. Add to the mix Josh Levo, Dominic Simone, Joachim Nordstrom, the emerging types of Dylan Dubé and Andrew Mangiapane. This now, to me, with a pretty solid back end, is a pretty good team. A pretty good team. Are they the best in the Canadian or Scotia North Division? I don't know. I will say that it will be incredibly disappointing if they don't find their way into the Final Four and make the playoffs. But I also see it as a division that is incredibly competitive. And I don't see a lot of difference between a number of teams. Guys, I'd probably say, talent-wise, and talent doesn't always win. We know that. The Toronto Maple Leafs might have an edge in that category, but every team, even the best teams, everybody in the division, guys, I think has some holes. So we'll see where it goes.
people are feeling fun and punchy today. I like it. Jamie Neugebauer is written in, the voice of the Notre Dame Hounds, and he wants to know if you think, Lou, the Tkachuk brothers will kill each other this year, Matthew and Brady. What do you know about their relationship? They're going to be playing each other more than ever. What's that rivalry going to be like on the ice?
Here's what I will tell you. Walt, who is Keith, the dad, probably would be okay with that. Mom, who's the Canadian glue of the family, as I like to call her, and just a beautiful human. I don't think she's all that fond of those two. Now, by their nature, I don't think that they can probably help themselves. But, even in their brief meetings in the National Hockey League, there certainly hasn't been anything yet. I think there's a bit of a family code, but on the other hand, we know what competition is, and those guys are incredibly competitive. So when you play somebody 9 times and you're going to be on the ice against one another a lot, I do know this. Older brother will truly want to show that he's still a little better than younger brother. So that it may not be in the fisticuff department, but there's a lot of competition there for sure.
It's interesting, Lou. It's so much fun to be sitting here talking about these things compared to what we've been through as a society in the last 10 months, and I know you agree. And I want to hear from our American viewers, and it's interesting that they're texting us on the Prairie Mobile text line because they're watching on cable television in the States. And here in the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL, I call it, we're right, as you know, in the trapezoid of Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton. We're deluged by coverage of those teams, and then by extension, the other 4 Canadian teams. We don't hear a lot about the American teams, but I will say this: Colorado is everybody's favorite.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you get tingles when you think about Avalanche Flames games?
I'm hoping to see some. However, I think we know what has to happen. That would have to happen in, a semifinal, a conference final type scenario before they're going to play a single game. The Colorado Avalanche have been built brilliantly. We see more great potential people on the road from the World Junior, Bowen Byram. Think about this. Think about a potential pairing for a long time of right-handed shooting Cale Makar and left-handed shooting Bowen Byram, and all the assets that they have with the Avalanche. Now they've added Brandon Saad, McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, Kadri, Donskoy, go on down the line, Samuel Girard, Alex Newhook on the way, and others. Now, if they had, a true number 1 type goalie, and they probably don't even need that guy. They need a consummate guy who's going to go out and make sure that he doesn't cost them games. That is a powerhouse in the making. And if they can manage all the math when all these young kids need to get paid, they have a chance to be like dynamite for a long time.
Well, you remember back in the day, I mean, Lou, you and I have walked the same path. Like all those, every NHL team's got scouts in this province, and I'm sure they do in Calgary. And, I got those scouts saying to me all the time, how come you don't talk about the American teams? It's always the Canadian teams. Thank God for the internet now. And right? Think back in the 80s and 90s. All they had to rely on the Leader Post and the hockey news. That's all they got for coverage of their teams, right? Now, but
you know what you used to have to do?
Huh?
You used to had to learn about hockey by doing something interesting.
Watch the game.
Watching it. Watch the games. What a concept. You can learn a lot by watching.
Yeah, of course. But you know who these scouts are. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to out them on national television, but they're just like, talk about the American teams more. Because you look at
listen.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that watch the games. And Roddy, how lucky have people like you and I been? I've been saying this for a long time. Some of the most beautiful guys in hockey scout in Saskatchewan. Ross Mahoney, Al Murray, all the incredible people.
Bruce Franklin, can't forget Bruce Franklin.
Bruce Franklin right at the top of the list. So, listen, I've been saying this for a long time. We have all achieved at some pretty decent hockey knowledge, and here's why. Because if you've cared to form some relationships, and if you've cherished the opportunity to learn from those types of people and all the different hockey people, that to me is what gets missed now. And I'm not pointing fingers, but to this day, every time I go to the rink and find myself in a conversation, you add some nuggets if you care to see the value in that.
People, face to face, Lou. That's what hurts because with the projections that I see, and I was talking with my wife about it last night. We're probably only around halfway through this thing, and it seems
I agree with you.
Yeah, and it seems like it's lasted 10 years. And we're only halfway through it. It's unbelievable. Before we do let you go, Lou, what is your take on the dub? Because Dregs dropped some interesting nuggets here yesterday. He liked the way the WHL did it. They announced a 24-game season, but that's it. Boy, has it set people off with speculation and questions.
Rod, here's what I'm not going to do. And we know, listen, I'm wearing a Western Hockey League, I'll call it bunny hug because we're doing a Saskatchewan in-part show. It's a hoodie for everybody else in the world, and that's fine. I am not going to criticize anyone for trying their best to salvage what has been an incredibly difficult and trying time. So the minute you are so quick to criticize on what it should be or what it shouldn't be, take these lenses off and think about operating from the lens of the Western Hockey League, what that league and the CHL has been through, whether it's lawsuits, the pandemic, the changing of their business. Let's have a little patience and let's applaud people once and for all for trying to do the best with circumstances that change every 5 minutes. I applaud them. I hope for the kids, I hope for all the people I love and care about in that league that they can find their way to 24 games and make something out of it.
Well said, Lou. You always say it so well, and I've been telling the folks, just chill. They are literally doing their best, right? But
in this day and age, you want people to chill? We want perfect.
I know, but sometimes they will chill when you tell them for a little while, and then they go back to being over the top crazy. You get it. But Lou, thanks for the time.
Put on somebody else's shoes, grab their glasses, and look through them through different lenses once in a while, and it's hard for everybody to do, including me, but just give it some thought. Okay, guys.
But there's zero empathy out there, unfortunately, right now, and it's hard to have people do that. Can you put up the comment from Greg Buchanan in Lloydminster watching Canada's only border city? He said something along the lines of, oh, he's the best, Bucky. Great to hear Peter on the upcoming season. His insight is so solid, even like his Stampede Wrestling insight. LOL. So on that note...
That's right, Greg. I want to thank you very kindly for tuning in, and if... Remps is out there and Bobby Leonard, I still can't find my ring.
I'd like to say, let the good times roll, Lou. Let's do it again.
We will.
All right.
Okay.
Be well.
Take care, guys. Well.
Peter Loubardias joining us from Calgary, Fan 960, Flames Radio Colorman.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.